Hey, thanks for tuning in for football predictions and wine pairings with me, Francis. So today's game is one that, if you like defense, I think you're going to really like it. So we're going to see the Seattle Seahawks take on the Arizona Cardinals, and they're going to be playing in Arizona. Both teams are 2-1, and Seattle just put 31 points on New Orleans last week. I mean, honestly, I thought it was going to be much worse because New Orleans didn't really score until almost the end of the first half. Then the Arizona Cardinals barely lost to the 49ers. They wound up losing 16-15. One slight difference in kicking, and they could have maybe won that game. So I'm expecting to see a good game. Seattle has not allowed more than 18 points against their opponents, and Arizona has not allowed more than 23 points. Plus, each quarterback has been sacked very low number of times, as opposed to some other games that have happened where we saw people getting sacked like 7 or 8 times. So it's going to be a good game tonight. Seattle is a 1.5 favorite, and I'm also going with Seattle. And I just think Seattle just looks better, although Arizona might be hungry to win. I mean, this is a divisional game, so they might be looking to make up for their loss to the 49ers. Expect a good game tonight, but I'm still going with Seattle. Okay, for tonight's game, I'm also continuing my journey on wines from Latin American countries, and today I have a Malbec from the most recognizable place that people get Malbecs, and that is Mendoza, Argentina. Now, Malbec traditionally comes from a place called Cahors, France, and that's like in the southwest region, southwest portion of the country. But most people know it from Argentina. So I have today from Argentina, Devotion 2021 Malbec. And one thing I want to point out is right here at the bottom, it says made with organic grapes. And this is important because there are organic wines that are available now, and there are varying rules on what qualifies as being organic. Each country has their own set of rules. And for the country of Argentina, they have 4 different groups that have to certify that a vineyard and or winery, because a vineyard could be organic and the winery doesn't have to be, and vice versa. So 4 different organizations have to come in and say, yes, you've done everything that we need you to do. Now, one of the other things that I found out about organic wine from Argentina is that 75% of it is exported, with the largest exporter being the European Union, and then followed by the US and Japan. So it's not really being consumed there, which I thought was kind of an interesting note. I'm wondering if that is related to the fact that there are additional costs when you're not using preservatives or sulfites in your wine. It takes a little bit of different handling, and you're going to need to either hold it a little bit longer or move it a little bit faster, and those 2 elements can increase external costs. So maybe it's rooted in that. Now, as I mentioned, this bottle says made with organic grapes. This winery is also a organic winery. So the vineyards and the winery are organic, but oftentimes if it says made with organic grapes, that means it's being made at a winery that is not organic. Just the grapes are organic. So, one of the things we haven't talked about a lot is like labeling. The label tells you a lot about what you need to know. And unfortunately, some of it you just have to know going into it. But now you know that. All right, let's get more into this wine. So, when you're looking in the glass, it's a really lovely dark color. On the edge, it is a light purple, right? On the nose, it smells a little bit fruity, kind of fruit forward. So just imagine like a basket of fruit kind of sitting there. You know how those all smell like things. It smells a little bit like violets, a little bit like black cherry, and a little bit like blackberry, just a little bit. On the tongue, we're getting those kind of a medium tannin, so not too bad. It has kind of a dried herb taste to it. We're also getting black currant, and a little bit of vegetableness, So think like green bell pepper. Overall, I thought this wine was pretty good. I picked it up at the grocery store for less than $10. And I thought, okay, it's not too bad. It's not the kind of big, bold red wine that I like, but it is definitely one that people can enjoy. I'm pairing mine today. I already have gotten the food because I was getting takeout. I'm having sweet and sour pork and pork fried rice. And you might think, hey, these don't really seem like they would go together, but actually, when you start adding the kind of saltiness from the rice and the sweetness from the sweet and sour pork, they're really kind of a nice pair. Like it really cuts through it. So I highly recommend it. All right, let's recap it and get out of here. First of all, go ahead and take Seattle. And today, if you can find it, go ahead and get Devotion 2021 Malbec from Argentina. Cheers.